Good evening. Welcome to the Now Wisconsin. I'm Regina Ahn. John Erickson has the night off. We have a warning. If you or someone you know is house hunting, sellers could actually be spying on you with security cameras, and it could keep you from getting a good deal. The Now's investigative reporter, Jace Larson, is looking into this to see if it's even legal.
This is the home that Shane and Peter Albritton had been looking for.
It felt right. It just felt like home.
Plenty of space for Grayson and Mom and Dad's artwork.
Thrilled. We're really excited to get out of the city and move to a suburb.
Before finding this house, one of their house hunting trips was, well,
creepy.
Their realtor told them to beware of cameras in the home.
You feel like you're being watched, which is...
You are?
You can't talk about the house when you're inside of it, number one, which is very awkward.
They're watching and listening to you.
Realtor Lisa Brown says she's had buyers from her broker's office spied on. She doesn't think it's fair to buyers.
How much they want to buy the house for and how they want to choose to create their offer for the seller. If the seller's watching them, they lose their ability to be able to negotiate, because they've been spied on.
In one case, a person selling her home sent this video to Lisa's office. They didn't admit to eavesdropping, but they said they didn't like how the buyer's agent represented the home. It proves, though, that the sellers were listening.
This is becoming more of an issue.
We looked at what the law says, and in most states, it is illegal to eavesdrop on someone when they're in the privacy of their own home if you are not one of the people taking part in that conversation.
So audio surveillance generally requires the consent of one or both parties, while video surveillance has a fact test, which is based on the reasonable expectation of privacy of the individual being filmed.
Finley Maxson, a lawyer with the National Association of Realtors, says that realtors should notify people looking at homes that there are cameras, but he says his organization doesn't require it. Lisa Brown says she'd like states to make laws to this effect. We called our state's real estate commission and didn't find any state law specifically related to cameras and home buyers.
Until we get specific laws or disclosures to say, hey, this is how this works, all we can do is just warn our buyers that as they're walking in the houses, this is what they have to look out for.
Shane and Peter say they were so turned off by the camera that they never even gave that other house a second thought.
Honestly, when I left the house, I forgot all about it because we didn't discuss anything about the house when we were in it. And that's usually how you remember it. Unless you're making those conversations while you're in the house, there's not a lot you're going to remember about it other than that was really uncomfortable. I don't want to go back there.
It was quite a distraction.
That realtor that we just heard from in the story there says people should go outside and either get into your car to have those sensitive conversations or perhaps your realtor's car. We also found out that 1 in 5 homes has some type of electronic surveillance equipment, so odds are you're going to run into this sooner or later. For the Now, I'm Jace Larson.
I don't know how I feel about that. Well, if you're looking for work, a Green Bay company is adding 100 new jobs. Today, they held a hiring event. NBC 26's Stacey Engebretson is live in the newsroom with details on the positions and a new partnership just announced.
Regina, Alorica currently employs 400 workers in the Green Bay area. Now the customer service solutions provider is looking to fill 100 new positions. They have job openings for customer service, team leads, managers, recruiters, and more, and say past experience isn't necessary. Today, job applicants met with company leaders, and Alorica announced a new partnership with the Military Veteran Project, a nonprofit organization that raises funds for military suicide prevention.
We are trying to give back to the Military Veteran Project. They're a great partner for us, and it aligns with our military hiring initiative.
These men and women have been trained to do the unthinkable. They are dedicated, they are loyal, they are consistent. And I would encourage any and all employers to try to recruit, retain, and keep those men and women employed.
That's Melissa Jarbo, who started the organization to fulfill her husband's dying wish after being shot by a sniper in Afghanistan in 2011. Jarbo says she's thankful Alorica has signed on to the Dial for Dollars campaign to raise funds for the organization, and she's thankful for Alorica's commitment to hiring vets. Alorica says if you missed today's hiring event, give them a call. There's still time. Live in the newsroom, Stacey Engebretson, NBC 26.
Thanks, Stacey. Well, a decision on whether Foxconn will bring thousands of jobs to Wisconsin could be coming up in the next couple of weeks. 2 state lawmakers say the state could have a deal with the electronics company by the end of the month. Republican State Representative John Nygren says finalizing an incentive package is a big part of closing that deal. Well, let's catch you up now on the Now newsfeed. We're getting closer to having a new FBI director. The Senate Judiciary Committee approved Christopher Wray's nomination today. The full Senate votes on him next. This is like something out of a movie. Police in the Philippines just busted a kidnapping gang suspected of targeting rich foreigners at casinos there. These 43 people are accused of kidnapping a woman at one casino and forcing her to make a video asking her family to send $180,000. And starting today, you can get a better idea what it's like to live and work in space. That's kind of cool. The International Space Station is now on Google Street View. You get a 360-degree view through 15 parts of the space station. With O.J. Simpson finding out today he'll be getting out on parole in October, we're looking into what happened to all of his money. Well, it's not clear exactly what his net worth is right now. One estimate from GoBankingRates.com has it at $250,000. CelebrityNetWorth.com estimates it's much higher at $3 million. Either way, that's a lot less than what he had in 1992 when he and Nicole Brown Simpson got divorced. His net worth was estimated at nearly $11 million back then, which would be around $18 million in today's dollars. Simpson still owes on the $33.5 million he has to pay to the families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman. In a 2014 interview, Goldman's sister said the family had collected less than 1% of the judgment. Interestingly, the Miami, Florida home Simpson lived in with his children after he was acquitted and until his 2008 conviction in the armed robbery in Las Vegas is actually on the market right now. Someone else owns that. You can see on Zillow it's listed for nearly $1.3 million. One thing Simpson would get if he's released from prison is his NFL pension. The NFL won't say how much he'll get, but Sports Illustrated estimates it could be as much as $25,000 a month. Well, plenty more to come tonight. Next up, we're live from the Kewaunee County Fair. NBC 26's Chief Meteorologist Cameron Moreland has your storm shield forecast. Right after the break, you're watching The Now Wisconsin.
You're connected to The Now on NBC 26 with John Erickson, meteorologist Cameron Moreland, and sports director Charlie Sakaitis. The Now on NBC 26, keeping you connected.
All right, it's time now to check in with Chief Meteorologist Cameron Moreland, who's on the road tonight. He's live at the Kewaunee County Fair, and he's got your storm shield forecast. Cameron, I saw you eating ice cream earlier. Did you save some for me?
No, Regina, sorry, it's gone. And it was delicious, I have to tell you. And it was a perfect thing for a nice, warm evening here in Luxembourg for the Kewaunee County Fair. All right, it's time to play some hoop shot while I do the weather. So Jason's going to help me out here. I did warm up a little bit here. Let's see. He says this is difficult, and I can attest after warming up, it's not really easy to do this. But I guess one in wins. So here we go. Oh, almost. Okay, we've got beautiful summer-like weather across the area today. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 80s. In fact, today was the warmest day so far this summer in Green Bay. The high temperature hit 87 degrees. Right now in Green Bay, the temperature is 86. And the dew point is 70. So when you combine the temperature with the dew point, you get the heat index. That's how hot it feels out here right now. It's not how I'm doing in this game because that's kind of cold actually. But here we go. Let's try it again. Oh, almost. So we've got a lot of high heat indices across northeast Wisconsin because it is the warmest day of the year so far, at least in the Fox Valley. Temperatures right now, oh, so close. When you combine the dew points and the temperatures are up into the 80s to around 90 degrees. All right, I need some help here, folks. Cheer me on. Let's switch the graphic here. All right. No 90s so far this year here in the Fox Valley. But hopefully, oh, I thought that was going to do it. Last year we had 3 days with high temperatures up into the 90s. This year so far, none. And typically we do see about 3 days during the summer with high temperatures up into the 90s. All right, I feel like I got to move a little bit faster here now because I'm going to be running out of time. Temperatures to our south were up into the 90s today. They're experiencing a big-time heat wave. Oh, to our south. 90s and 100s, in fact. Several heat indices that are like around 110 to 115. Oh, should I bank it? I wonder if I should try to bank shot. Oh.
Let it light.
All right, just keep them rapid fire here. Let's go. Oh.
Just speed them up a little bit.
Gonna run out of time.
1 at a time.
Come on, live television. Oh, oh no. Oh, come on. Oh, one more.
I'm hiding because Cameron, you missed all of those shots. 50 of them I just counted. Wow, Cameron. Maybe it was a heat wave. I don't know. All right.
There was 50 shots there. You know what?
I counted 50.
I did make one in practice, though, didn't I?
No, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's still 0%.
So we're good.
All right, thanks, Cameron.
I know.
Well, women often lag behind men when it comes to pay on the job. Well, after the break, we'll show you one place where they are out-earning the men on the Now Wisconsin. We've been telling you about the wage gap between men and women and the fight to overcome it. But today we're learning one way women are already out-earning men is when it comes to crowdfunding. Women are 32% more successful than men when crowdfunding, and the average per-person contribution to a woman is $87 compared to $83 for a man. This is according to a new report from PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP and the Crowdfunding Center. The reason? Well, women tend to use more emotional and inclusive language than men when they present their crowdfunding ideas, which makes people more likely to invest with them. With Packers training camp right around the corner, a new fan program at training camp will give fans a chance to win prizes, reserved seats, and priority access to player autographs. The Packers Pass allows fans to earn virtual badges for checking in at various locations around Lambeau Field during camp. We have information on how to download it at our website at NBC26.com. The Green Bay Packers and Johnsonville Food hosted a ribbon-cutting ceremony this morning to celebrate the grand opening of the Johnsonville Tailgate Village. The permanent tailgating and event space will be free and open on game days, Packers Family Night, and various special events. It can also hold 2,000 people and will feature live music and entertainment with food and drinks.
We get phone calls every day, from people who are inquiring about a suspicious phone call or letter or email, so it's just nonstop.
And tonight at 10, whether you're in the hunt for a great hotel for your next vacation or looking to buy a camper or motorcycle to get in some adventure this summer, consumer experts warn your best defense against a scam is being an informed consumer. Well, don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. Charlie's up next, and he's got a brand new reason we can all chuckle at the Chicago Bears. Today's Take is next when the Now Wisconsin returns. Our sports director, Charlie Sakaitis, is here. Yay!
That's the most excited anybody's been to see me in a long time.
Yay! All right, and he promised me a new reason to laugh at the Chicago Bears that has nothing to do with Jay Cutler.
Nothing to do with Jay Cutler. We will get to it. Now, sometimes here in today's Take, I get serious. Sometimes we try to be inspirational, but every now and then it's incumbent upon me to give you, the viewer, what you really want. And in Northeast Wisconsin, what the viewer really wants is any reason to laugh at the Chicago Bears, and we've got that today because despite being located in the third largest media market in the country, the Bears have been so bad for so long that the top-selling NFL jersey in the state of Illinois last season was Tom Brady. Now, I don't always have the best memory. I can get things confused, but I'm pretty sure that Tom Brady is a Patriot, as in a New England Patriot. That's like a politician losing his home state in an election. That's like your mom voting for Tommy down the street as best kid in the neighborhood. And I'd employ the Bears to be better, but I think the folks around here like them just the way they are. By the way, if you were wondering, Aaron Rodgers is the highest selling jersey in Wisconsin. Also, and I think it's worth noting, his college teammate Marshawn Lynch was the leader in 14 states, including the entire West Coast, Alaska, and Hawaii. I guess that's what you get when you're willing to run through someone's face And that's today's take. Now, before we get too far from that, I do have to mention, I was watching Cameron shoot those jump shots.
I know.
I could do an entire another minute if we needed to, just on how terrible the form in that was. Cameron, I love you, but that is not your game.
He was trying, though. He was trying his best, and he said he had one when he was practicing. So does that count
That
at all?
does not count. No, when the lights come on, that's when you got to hit the shot.
He really tried, though. A for effort, maybe, let's just stop right there. All right, well, coming up in February, more than 100,000 people were evacuated after the Oroville Dam in California was damaged. There's a surprising twist to the story with people flocking to the river now. You're watching the Now Wisconsin. Hope you'll stay with us. Who knew a potential disaster could lead to a modern-day gold rush? Remember the problems with the spillway at the Oroville Dam in California? It was threatening to collapse and flood the community below. Workers kept that from happening, but the water that did rush out ended up shifting the sediment in the river, and that's exposed gold that's been hidden for decades, if not longer. The owners at the gold shop say people are now panning for gold and finding on average between $40 and $300 worth of gold.
They're finding the gold in the Feather River, the Yuba River, all the feeders that feed into the river. Really, they just want to quit their job and they really just want to put on some boots and go down to the river. That's really the truth. Even the workers up there, we've heard, they're seeing them. They're seeing the nuggets too.
The Yuba River was a key part of the California gold rush dating back to the 1840s. And finally tonight, it was bound to happen again. In Sweden, they were asked to vote on the name for the train running between Stockholm and Gothenburg. The winner? Trainee McTrainface. They'll unveil the newly named train in a ceremony this fall. Last year, the British public voted to name a polar research ship Boaty McBoatface. All right, well, that name ended up not being approved. Well, that does it for the Now Wisconsin. I'm Regina Ahn. Thank you for watching and have a great night.